Brian Tracy and James Clear shared 3 daily habits and a step-by-step framework to become better by 1% every day. I'm going to share one strategy from James Clear explained in one of his articles on his website and 2 other daily habits with an actionable framework from one of Brian Tracy's seminars. All parts of this video are going to be actionable, so take some papers and follow along. For the first habit, we need to build a pool of flashcards. But for doing so, we need to use something that Brian Tracy calls it the magic wand strategy. Basically, the magic wand is a way of thinking. So imagine you could wave a magic wand or take a magic pill, and overnight you could be excellent and world-class at any one skill in your business, study, or life. If you could develop one skill within 24 hours, what one skill will help you the most to be more successful in that aspect of your life? So go and take some papers like this. For example, I myself use A5 papers, then divide them into 8 pieces. So now you have some kinds of flashcards. Then write all those skills that pop into your mind on these flashcards. As Brian Tracy points out, almost everybody knows the answer to that question, but sometimes they don't like the answer because they feel uncomfortable about it, and that's because they are not good at that skill yet. Then we need to draw something like this. The x-axis is the importance and the y-axis is getting results immediately. By saying getting results immediately, I mean how fast you're going to see the results, because for example, some skills like learning a new language take a long time to see the results, but some others like learning an editing software may take less than a month. In the next step, you need to sort out these skills in this chart, and after that I suggest picking up the skills falling in the first 2 quadrants. Then I suggest planning for a 40-day success compression cycle. To be honest, this term is inspired by Darren Hardy's 90-day success compression period, but I think 90 days is too long. So I suggest 40 days, which is neither too short nor too long. In order to plan for a 40-day success compression cycle, first of all, you need to find some good resources and build a kind of roadmap for learning or getting better at that skill. For example, in one of my previous cycles, I was trying to learn an editing software. So I searched the internet to find some good resources and courses for that skill. The course which I found useful had 30 videos, each of which was less than 10 minutes. So I plan to watch one video every day and review what I've learned in the last 10 days of that 40-day success compression cycle. Also, I was learning another skill simultaneously with editing in that cycle. But you should pay attention to one important note. After each cycle, you should repeat this process again. For example, as I told you, in one of my previous cycles, learning editing was one of my top priorities. But today is one of my last priorities because I'm already familiar with some editing software. Before going to the third habit by James Clear, which is really awesome, let me tell you about the second habit that Brian Tracy mentioned in that seminar. For this habit, you need a notebook, or better than that, your bullet journal. And that habit is rewriting your major goals in the present tense every day. Scientifically speaking, this habit constantly stimulates the RAS part of your brain to filter what's happening around you and come up with ideas, decisions, and solutions to achieve those goals. But now let's go to the third strategy. I read about this strategy in one of James Clear's articles on his website. He explains that at the end of each week, he sits down at his computer and fills out a little spreadsheet to track key metrics in his business, including website traffic, email subscribers, revenue, expenses, and so on. Then, based on those metrics, he tries to set goals for the next week. For example, if you usually eat 417 grams of rice in your meals, you can set your goal not to eat more than 388 grams in each meal in the next week. Or if you are doing 5 push-ups in this week, you should set your goal to do 6 push-ups in the next week. You can apply the same strategy to your expenses, income, your exercise habit, your reading habit, and so on. But for some people, like entrepreneurs, how to improve some metrics such as their sales, their website traffic, and so on is not very clear to them. In this case, I highly suggest doing Earl Nightingale habit to make it clear. So the general idea is to measure backward, not forward, and set goals by your current position and try to make it better by 1% each day, which will be compounded, and at the end of the first year, you will have improved that aspect of your life by 37 times. But for measuring backward, you need to write your tasks and track your habits so as to have some data to improve them every week or every day. In my opinion, the best tool for doing so is your pocket notepad, or better than that, your bullet journal. So if you want to set up your bullet journal correctly, I suggest watching this video, which is on the screen now. By the way, I would really appreciate it if you tap the like button. It really helps the channel with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.